The Archdiocese of Chicago is a vibrant and diverse faith community. We celebrate our faith through worship, evangelization, and reaching out to the needy. Welcome to Catholic Chicago.
Good morning, welcome to Catholic Chicago. I'm Father Greg Sakowicz, the rector of Holy Name Cathedral in Chicago. And to my left, the ever-looking young Mark Teresi.
Your eyes are going.
is coordinating with others the 175th anniversary, which is getting closer, Mark, and the cathedral's 150th anniversary a year from now. How are you, Mark?
Good, very exciting times at Holy Name Cathedral. The plans are starting to formulate. November 23rd is our Mass, our kickoff Mass.
Well, I know that on November 18th, 1849, we were founded as a parish.
Correct.
So 175 this November. And then the following November of 2025, 150 years as a cathedral.
Right.
So we're part of history at Holy Name Cathedral, so you'll be learning, folks, more about this in the weeks and months ahead.
Right, and the city has named November 18th as Holy Name Cathedral Day in the city of Chicago.
In Chicago. So great program lined up here this morning. The Catholic Campaign for Human Development is the domestic anti-poverty program of the U.S. Catholic bishops working to carry out the mission of Jesus Christ, to bring good news to the poor, release the captives, sight to the blind, and let the oppressed go free, from the Gospel of Luke. CCHD is an essential part of the Church in the United States social mission and a unique part of the Catholic community's broad commitment to assist low-income people, families, and communities. Joining us this morning to talk about CCHD and the grand cycle is Archdiocese of Chicago, CCHD, CRS, a lot of initials there, Mark, Program Coordinator, Dani Bodette. Dani, good morning. Welcome to the program.
Good morning. Yes, my apologies for all the acronyms.
Oh, yeah, wait, CCHD, CRS. It's a lot there. But now the folks need to know, people know that I'm a diehard Chicago Bears fan, a suffering Bears fan, and so is Mark, not as much as I am. And folks, we learned off the air that though Dani was born or raised near the Twin Cities, she's originally from Wisconsin, so she is a Packers fan. So Dani, thank you for joining us on the program.
Yeah.
We're now bringing this program to a close.
You're very insightful. Amen.
We ultimately decided it was out of my control, so it was okay.
That's true. And that's we compromised and said it was out of your control. So tell us, as the director of the program coordinator for the Catholic Campaign for Human Development for the grants, what does that mean?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, CCHD stands for the Catholic Campaign for Human Development, and we are the domestic anti-poverty initiative of the U.S. Catholic bishops. And this is the program that exists nationwide and has sort of chapters in each diocese or archdiocese. And it was actually founded in Chicago. So here in Chicago, our CCHD program is alive and well. What that looks like for us is an annual collection every year, the weekend before Thanksgiving. And we raise money from faithful Catholics in the pew, and then we grant that money and grant awards to local organizations that are working to address poverty in their own community. It's very community-led. It's very grassroots. And it's really all about letting low-income people lead the charge for change they want to see.
So if somebody's listening and works with the homeless or works with poverty within the city here, what's the first step for them in terms of even finding what kind of things you do fund through?
Absolutely. That would be going to our website at cchdschicago.org. And there they will find a funding guide, a local funding guide, they will find examples of previous grantees, and they'll find my email so we can connect and chat about it.
So do you walk with people then if they're looking for a grant and they're looking to apply for a grant? Do you walk with them in terms of that process?
Absolutely. Yeah, I have lots of conversations before someone decides to fill out a pre-application. That's our first step, a pre-application, just to kind of get a sense of what the group is about. And then if we feel like it's a good fit, then we invite them to complete a full application. I walk with people before that process, during that process, after, whatever the outcome may be. And it's good to stay in conversation about these things because grant writing is so dependent on the grant maker, right? So it's good to be in conversation and give the best insight.
You know, I find, Dani, that CCHD, the Catholic Campaign for Human Development, has a rich history, and that collection, which takes place in November, people are very, very generous, not only in Chicago, but nationwide. And because the money goes to so many people in need, either individuals, communities, or organizations. And maybe kind of a sidebar, how did you get into this position? Because here you are so young, you had a whole future to do so much with your life. How did you end up here with CCHD and the great work that you do for Chicago at this time in your life?
Absolutely. It's been a huge gift to know that accompaniment and solidarity has been my vocation for a long time. I feel very lucky to know that that's how I want to be me in this world. And I made the decision to go straight from my undergraduate degree to get my master's in nonprofit business because I like the big picture of things, and I like kind of having that 30,000-foot level, along with getting into the closer details. So after my master's at Notre Dame, I landed here, and it's been it's over 2 years now, 2 years and 3 months, and it's really a great fit to connect my faith and the way that I think some people can think about the Catholic faith and see Catholic social teaching as elective or like an add-on. And that is so certainly not how I see it, and not how Friends of CCHD see it. We really believe this is the heart of the gospel, and not an optional or add-on to the faith.
Now, one of the things you had said, go onto the website, and I went on the website, and one of the things I noticed, which I thought was very topical, were the bishops looking at, and I don't know if it's through your agency, but promulgating the message of avoiding political violence in this moment, peace through dialogue and justice. Do you want to speak to that a little bit as we approach this election coming up?
Absolutely. Yeah. So all of our groups, and being 501c3 nonprofits, are nonpartisan, and even more than that, they all work for advancing, more peaceful dialogue. A lot of them work towards solidarity between groups of people, whether that's racial solidarity or solidarity between migrants and people that have lived in Chicago for a long time. A lot of these groups work to bring people together that are not always being told to be in the same space. And by creating this united front of solidarity, they work to address changes and systems that need to be made that affect both of their groups. Take gentrification, for example. That affects plenty of groups of people in the city of Chicago. And I have groups that work to create a united front against development that isn't equal and create change in the city.
Maybe, Dani, question, because your responses have been terrific. On a personal level, you've been doing this now for a couple of years. By the way, I am also, with you, a fellow grad, University of Notre Dame. I'm a domer like you, but I'm a graduate of master's program. You are also with you. Were you undergrad or master's?
Just master's.
Which is fantastic. And
I feel out of it, but anyway.
Yeah, well, thank you for joining us, Mark.
Okay, that's all right.
And we'll let you in. And what is the most satisfying part of your work with CCHD, and what do you find to be the most frustrating?
Yeah, I think the most satisfying is being able to walk in a ministry that really understands the 2 feet of charity and justice. I believe that CCHD really addresses both. And I think justice is the thing that I think can get sort of left to the wayside because charity is maybe more accessible sometimes to people. It's easier to find charitable organizations and get involved. And justice is the thing that they can't be separated, right? We're not doing the full mission of the gospel if we're not doing them together. And it's a great joy to be able to walk in that space of justice.
Now, this is on a more personal level. Over the years, I've been in ministry a long time. Every once in a while from a classmate or a friend, why don't you get a real job? Do you ever hear that from any of your friends, and what's your answer to them?
Oh, certainly. Maybe not a real job, but it certainly has its moments of there have been some comedic responses, I suppose, to being a young woman saying I work for the Catholic Church. There's some comedic moments with that. And but anyone who knows me and who gets to know me knows that this makes sense, actually. No one's really surprised when they know that I'm the director of CCHD at the Archdiocese of Chicago. Once they learn who I am and what CCHD is,
it's a good match. It's a good fit.
It seems to be somewhere like in your DNA, that real heart for social justice, the poor, those that have less, to reach out to them. It seems like that's kind of a big part of who you are. Does that come from family growing up, in terms of your mother and
somewhat,
father?
For sure.
And also the fact that, or just your schooling?
Yeah, I grew up in a family that did a lot of traveling, and always traveling with the desire to learn the experience of the other. And I think that sort of dismantled any tendency I would have to maybe view others in a way that deterred me from wanting to be in community with them. But now I look at difference as a richness to engage with, albeit difficult. Don't get me wrong. There's times when it's certainly difficult, but the richness of difference is exciting, and it's a joy to work with those that are different than myself and support their own empowerment in whatever way I can with CCHD, and just be in friendship and community.
Do you find the work that you do is also very humbling, to be able to walk with people?
Yeah, I learn something new all the time, and I've got a lot to learn. There's no hiding that fact. So it's a great joy to do it among people that have become friends.
And I know we're going to be closing this segment in a little bit, but you just seem totally at peace with what you're doing. Any brief reflection on that?
Yeah. Nothing is perfect, and CCHD is not perfect. And I think that can trouble a lot of young people, that they're not a part of a perfect system. And I feel very grateful to have the sense of surrender that no matter how hard I work, it'll never be perfect. And I have to work hard to just make these friendships and this work as community driven, solidarity driven as possible. And I can let go that it's not perfect, because we all exist in these imperfect systems, and we just have to work to be the best advocate in them that we can be.
Beautiful.
Well, Dani, we're going to bring this segment to a close. We are both very impressed with who you are, your dedication, your passion, your commitment, your humility in serving those less in need. So we're going to bring the segment to a close. I want to thank in a very special way this part of the program, Dani Bodette, Archdiocese of Chicago, CCHD/CRS Program Coordinator for the Archdiocese. I'm Father Greg Sakowicz, along with Mark Teresi. Mark's been a great segment to be with you. Please stay tuned for another segment. God bless. have a great day.